Hi, I'm Justin.
Also, I hate the way my voice sounds, so if you can, do whatever Photoshop does to voices, make me sound awesome.
And this is my lovely friend,
The beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and it's just about getting into the seat of being the beholder.
Hayley.
I don't think you have to be particularly perceptive. I just think you have to look up.
This podcast is mostly just her telling me stories.
If you expose yourself to the possibility that this might be really awkward, there can be something just really cool on the other side of it.
She thinks that her life and way of looking at things are
I thought I was kind of waiting on you. I thought you were getting your stuff ready. You're waiting on me?
pretty normal.
You got to edit out all the misinformation about the Amish.
Maybe you can relate.
I would like a chance to re-sing the Amish Paradise.
If you want lighthearted stories
All right, you want to talk about goats?
and stream of consciousness,
I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
then you're going to like the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up.
So, if you're at all like me, you may feel that you're living in a world that can be a bit overwhelming and confusing at times. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts, documentaries, docudramas, stories, and of just information in general. Between all of that and the social media and news, sometimes our brains can feel like they're on overload. Hayley and I hope that this podcast can be something of an antidote to all of that. Like little jello shots of joy and distraction. None of it is too serious or really too informative. Mostly it's just two friends who have conversational chemistry talking about whatever enters the minds of relatively ADHD people. We hope you enjoy. By the way, luckiest country in the world. You ready?
Luckiest country in the world?
Yeah, just like by proximity, by whatever. Luckiest country in the world.
Are we having to rock, paper, scissors this at the same time?
Well, I'll tell you what I think it is.
Okay.
You can tell me if you disagree. You may have never had this thought.
Okay.
Go. What do you think the luckiest country in the world is?
Oh, luckiest country in the world. I've never thought about this before. Canada's got it going on because nobody's
Canada.
looking at them. Oh, were you thinking Canada?
I was literally thinking. So,
I love this.
yeah,
Okay, it must be the right answer.
It must be.
Congratulations, Canada. Unanimous support. You guys
right.
are the luckiest. But look at their landscape. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, you're talking about they live in some cold regions and
It was
whatnot.
beautiful.
It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Every movie that I've ever watched and said, my gosh, that is stunning. Where is this filmed?
Okay, so
It's always Alberta.
here's why Canada's the luckiest country in the world. They dedicate some nominal percentage of their GDP to national defense. It's probably 5% or less, right? Whatever it is, it's minuscule.
Okay.
Because no one's ever going to be dumb enough to come attack Canada because automatically they've engaged the most powerful country in the world. So they take a teeny fraction of their GDP and put it towards defense.
Piggyback on...
Right. And they turn all that other money into this amazing social programs, right?
Yep.
They're incredibly high in per capita natural resources.
Yes.
Right? So you have this really a giant expanse of land, relatively few people per square mile or whatever, with a lot of natural resources in it. You have America living in your basement, so no one's ever going to screw with you, or living on the first floor,
Or at least you're not going to find them because who's going to that Pacific Northwest corner to find out if Russia has actually been hanging out there. They may have squatters' rights by this time, and Canada's not going to know about it because it's so huge.
Right. And the four Mounties that are covering the area. Oh, hey, how are you? They're so friendly, okay.
Love them so much, but also Bigfoot.
A Bigfoot.
I mean, Canada's got a pretty strong basis of Bigfoot.
I had this thought the other day. I drove by and saw a Bigfoot sign with American flag wrapped around it. What if America's secret weapon against the Chinese and Russian threat is we somehow weaponize Bigfoot?
You know what? That guy just doesn't show up when you I'm not sure that I really want to trust him with...
He's kind of
my mental health needs a more visibly present defense system.
He's kind of like an absentee father. He just never is around when you need him.
We had this conversation last night about whether you believe in Bigfoot or not with a mixed crowd. And that was one of the
mixed crowd
of believers and non-believers.
Yeah.
And that was the most compelling argument for why no, there is no Bigfoot, because with all the technology and the access to photos and game cameras and everything else, there's just no real credible images of him floating around. And I was like, that you know of. The NSA probably sits on that stuff.
And according to the Bigfoot enthusiasts, they're like the smartest creature ever, and they know where the cameras are. Yeah, and they have technology that makes them either invisible or they spot it. So please, I will flush that argument down the toilet right now. Give me something way better than we've never seen one.
Like, Bigfoot is only going to let you see what he wants you to see.
That's right.
And so I'm like, it was a decently compelling argument. I'm still not sold. But I feel like as private as Bigfoot is, that Canada is probably just the ideal area for him, because nobody's looking for him or the Russians or anybody else that might be up there. But
that's true. That's probably, a place like that, like the Siberian, or this Siberia in Russia, and then like Canada, where there's just nobody. That's where I would go if I was Bigfoot, because you're an inherently private animal.
Yourself. Yes. So if you're walking through have you been to Epcot?
No.
Kids and cults don't. Okay, that's going in the no column.
I was going to say that was actually hurtful.
Like, that would be one I wish.
That's a big no-no.
That you didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
We're going to make up for that that shortcoming.
Yeah, please.
But
can't wait.
In Epcot, the front of it's like, look at amazing technology and things that it can do, and then the back of it is a world showcase where it's just like this walkway, and you were walking through different countries, and at each country you're eating the food from there.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Seeing shops and things. So it's just like a little immersive experience. Canada is represented, but probably the least spectacularly. Like, there's like a little mountain, and you can sit inside it and watch a short film about Canada. They have a restaurant where I think they serve steak. I've never eaten there, so apologies to Canada if I'm getting this wrong. But have they left a big footprint on the global
world
cuisine?
Stage?
Yeah, like what's Canada? Ryan Reynolds, like what else is Canada?
First of all, Ryan Reynolds.
He's big enough to make up for a lot of shortcomings.
I love Ryan Reynolds.
Completely. What an ambassador. Like, he is the best face of a country. He does well. But as far as like cuisine or pop culture, sports.
Okay, hold on though. Bieber.
He's okay. All right.
I mean, I would not have had this thought but I think what they've given the world is celebrities. And they have to come to America, of course, you can't be famous in Canada. Nobody cares about Canada. Famous is not real famous,
which is unfortunate, because those are some gemstones that are.
Yeah, but I mean, Canadian famous. I mean, come on, please, it's a joke. I mean, whatever. I turn up my American nose at that. But no, if you come to like a real country like America,
hurt feelings.
It's called humor. It's called humor, Hayley. If you come to a real country like America, you can, and you're talented, then you can become famous. But even like I get a big kick out of what's the guy's name who was on the TV show Arrested Development? There's several of them, but the guy from Canada, he's funny. He's got the really deep voice. He does like commercials.
Is he the Never Nude?
He's not Never Nude guy. No, he is.
My toxic trait is that I never know famous people's names or what shows they were in.
Yeah.
I do have a
Will
connection.
Arnett.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Will Arnett
on the podcast. I just listened to on the way here.
Right. So
he does
like
have a deep
he's
voice.
another Canadian. Yeah. I think Mike Myers, was he the comedian?
I really don't know.
Okay.
And that's the point. Like, Canada really flies under the radar on those things. Their good things are really good. Maple syrup, moose, and gorgeous landscape. It's where all the best movies are filmed. But
did you say maple syrup and moose?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
I mean, it's just a nice animal to see from a distance, not together.
Flavored moose? No.
Separately.
Separately.
Maple syrup, moose as the face of their wildlife. I don't know. Like you don't want to get too close to them. I think.
No, they can be irritable.
Like more people suffer from like moose attacks than bear attacks, I think. Like they're fairly aggressive.
Yeah.
Maybe seasonally, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But Canada brings a lot of good things to the table. I've just wondered, they get included in the World Showcase, and I think that's nice, but they don't give them a really strong presence there.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't feel like they're trying hard enough, though.
Is that Canada's fault, or is it because we're so loud we just don't give them the time? Like,
no, because,
what's their food? What's their food item?
Think about everything south of the border is so colorful that it's so distinct. Like, all the, all the Mexican and then Central and South American countries, get represented pretty well in the food category because you know what it is. Like, we don't know. Like, I'm going to lay this squarely on Canada's doorstep. They're not trying hard enough. Here's what's happening.
That's an argument.
They're nice. They drink a lot of beer. Really friendly people who have very few problems because we're protecting them. So they have, like, a great healthcare system that cradle to graves them. Like, these are people without real problems. So they haven't been, like, see, having problems is what helps you be, like, ingenious. Like, jazz, the blues, that comes from pain. Like, that's where, like, right?
Like a guy who licks shopping cart handles, his system gets stronger because of the exposure.
That's what I'm saying.
So Canada would be stronger if it had suffered more.
Canada is like the child that has a helicopter mom that wipes everything down with, like, wipes and sanitizes everything, bathes that child 3 times a day, no going outside without shoes on. You know what I'm saying?
Perhaps.
And they're boring.
Or Canada is that reclusive hermit who knows what's up and just chooses to keep the secrets to himself. And he's probably got a jam-up cuisine that he's just not pushing on the world because he doesn't want to be imperialized by his southern neighbor. Because the United States will absolutely
They're already imperialized. You know they have a queen. Queen Elizabeth is their queen, and I think.
But she doesn't really mess with them.
No. But she doesn't mess with anybody. She just, like, I'm not sure what she does.
The United States is the imperialist that you don't want messing with you. So I would lie about my resources before I would brag about it if I did not live in the United States.
We don't take anybody's resources. Oh my God. How dare you? What a...
All of Central America is just that emoji of the guy with the big eyes just looking up like, are we really going to say this?
Oh, Lord. Hello, lovely friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And it would mean the world if you would tell other people about this podcast and maybe even spam your social media accounts with just how much you're enjoying it. If you are, of course. Also, commenting and rating us on whatever platform you're downloading or streaming from is incredibly helpful to a little startup podcast like this one. On the other hand, if you are dissatisfied with your listening experience, please leave all of that hate on someone else's podcast. Just maybe to confuse them a little bit, right? But most of all, we hope you keep looking up and looking for the sunny side of life.